And joining me to talk more about this project is Philippe Le Corre. He's a visiting fellow in the Center on the United States and Europe at the Brookings Institution. His research focuses on China's foreign policy and China's economic diplomacy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
So why is China putting up so much money for this project? What is in it for China?
Well, China obviously, is interested in expanding its presence abroad in every dimension, diplomatic, economic, financial. And this particular project, of course, has a lot of significance for China because China has had nuclear energy for some time, about 30 years, and it was a cooperation with France originally in the late 70s, early 80s. And now China, of course, wants to expand this technology and looking for, recipient countries, and including in Europe. So one of those has been the UK, who has not had a nuclear plant for some time. And of course, that's why it's a combination of French technology and Chinese financing.
So what would this do for UK-Chinese relations as they're in the middle of Brexit? Or does Brexit make projects like these more important?
Well, yes, in a way. I mean, it was announced during the state visits of President Xi in October 2015. It came a little bit as a shock to some of the British people because, I mean, of course, the general public didn't know about this. And, it's a major investment. And in a way, it says to the British people, a foreign entity is going to run one of the nuclear plants, one of the major sources of energy in your country. So I think in a way, the fact that both France's EDF and Chinese nuclear companies are cooperating is somewhat reassuring, perhaps, for the British public. On the Brexit thing, well, obviously, there's still so much uncertainty. This project, I don't think, will be affected by Brexit, unless, of course, the result of the French presidential election this Sunday has some impact, but we're far away from that. So in terms of Brexit, Prime Minister May will try to keep her country, having a good relationship with the rest of the world, including the United States, including China. So I don't see why this project would not be carried on.
You've traveled China. You've written extensively about China. Would you say that projects like this perhaps changes perceptions of the country?
Well, nuclear energy, that's a fairly technical thing. I don't think it does change a country's image. Obviously, it goes with the reputation of engineering and technology, but I have to stress that in this particular case, I think the French engineers will be mainly in charge of the nuclear aspect of this project. Having said that, it will be a cooperation, and when the time comes, people will know that it's a sort of international project taking place in a UK, which will no longer be part of the European Union. That is, of course, something that was unexpected, surprising. But the UK still needs to have its own energy, and whether it's part of the EU or not, it is still part of Europe as a continent, and still needs to interact with the rest of the world, including the European Union, including China.
Philippe Le Corre, thank you so much for your time.